Hello, and thank you for joining Steve on Pathways, my video blog about the Pathways learning experience based on my own experience. Today is episode 8, entitled Making the Most of Pathways. We're going to be talking a little bit more about some of the extra added features of Pathways. So let's get started. A couple of things I wanted to touch base on today in making the most of Pathways is to remind you again, talk a little bit about it being a self-directed program, talk about asking for help and getting that help, and then also about certificates and recognition. As a self-directed program, it's up to you to decide how fast you're going to go through the Pathways program and what exact electives you're going to choose. You can talk this over with your Vice President of Education, but ultimately it's up to you to do the work to get through the program. Nobody else can do it for you. We can help you and guide you, but you ultimately need to be doing it. The other thing that I wanted to mention, we've talked about it a couple times, is that there are tutorials out there, and there's tons of tutorials on so many different topics that if you have a question and you don't seem to be able to find an answer, or it's not a time when you can get to someone to ask them a question, you can always go to tutorials and resources and look for something on that topic and review it there. It's a great resource. I've used it many a time, especially as I've learned more and more about Pathways and forget exactly how to do something. The other thing that I want to mention is just to remind you to ask for help, right? Most people who have been a Toastmaster for a little while know that there are pitfalls along the way and are glad to help the next person reach the top of the summit. And then hopefully that person will also feel that they can help the next person along. So sooner or later, we're all have achieved our goals and reached the top of the mountain, so to speak. But that's the goal once you make a certain amount of achievements and have a certain amount of experience in Toastmasters, is to keep reaching for the top. The next thing I wanted to talk about briefly is recognition. So in Toastmasters, we achieve different goals for all the work that we've done on speeches and projects. And one of the things that we get for doing that is a certificate. However, in Pathways, you can get to your own certificate. So you can see here's my level 1. I've completed all those projects and submitted my level 1 completion. It's been approved. I've been recognized. But there's also a certificate if I wish to view that. So, and I can also then print it out. So you just click on View Certificate, and this loads automatically once your level is complete. And you can see here, this is my certificate. I can print it out, bring it to a meeting, and ask my Toastmaster or Vice President of Education to present it to me. It's always a great thing to recognize people publicly in Toastmasters. It not only gives them a sense of accomplishment, but is an example for other people in Toastmasters as to what they can achieve and strive to achieve the same thing or better. That pretty much concludes what I have to say about Pathways and my experience and how to make the most of Pathways. What I'll be working on next is another video blog about being a Basecamp manager and how to make the most of being a Basecamp manager to help your members achieve the most they can in Pathways. Thank you for joining me, and good luck.